to start studying single phase induction motor, we will first revise some concept of three-phase induction motor and some concepts of basics of rotating machine, because we have already studied three-phase induction motor. So what happens in three-phase induction motor? We have three-phase balance supply, three-phase balanced supply, and we have three windings, stator winding, which are space displaced by 120 degree. So in basics of rotating machine, we have already studied that if this type of winding, which are space displaced by 120 degree, and if we give three-phase balanced supply to this winding, a rotating magnetic field will be generated. There will be an equivalent field due to all these windings. Actually, there will be current in all these three windings, and due to current, all these three windings have their own MMF, and combining all those three MMF, we will have a resultant MMF. So these we have already studied, and we will have this resultant MMF rotating with the speed same as the frequency of three-phase supply, and the direction of rotation of this resultant MMF will depend upon the phase sequence of the supply, and the magnitude of resultant MMF is 3 Fm by 2, where Fm is maximum MMF or MMF, Fm is MMF due to maximum current. So in three-phase induction motor, the main cause of rotating this rotor part or rotating induction motor is the rotating stator MMF, which rotates at the speed which is equal to frequency. If supply frequency is 50 Hertz, so this resultant MMF will rotate with a speed of 50 rotation per second. So if resultant MMF will rotate, this will cut the rotor conductor. So the rotor will rotate so as to reduce the relative speed between stator MMF and rotor conductor. This rotor will rotate in such a direction so as to reduce the relative speed between resultant MMF and rotor conductor. So the main cause of rotation of three-phase induction motor is the rotating stator MMF. So in the same way, first, in case of single-phase induction motor, we will try to find out what is the main cause of rotating single-phase induction motor, or what is the main principle by which a single-phase induction motor will rotate. As the name suggests, in single-phase induction motor, we will have only one stator winding, and this will be given with a single-phase AC supply. Okay. So before studying this, suppose we have a DC source. This supply is given to a winding, and this winding is wound on a soft iron material. So due to current in this winding, there will be an MMF, okay, and MMF will be N into I. What will be the direction of MMF? The direction of MMF depends upon the direction of current as well as the orientation with which winding has been wound on this soft iron material. So the MMF may be in upward direction, or this may be in downward direction. If we talk about magnitude of MMF, since we have given a DC supply, the current will be constant. If current is constant, so the magnitude of MMF will be constant. Next, if we talk about direction of MMF, what will be the direction of MMF? Since this is a DC supply, so the direction of current will, this is also not going to change. So the direction of MMF will be either upward or downward, and its magnitude will be constant. In the next case, if instead of DC supply, if we give an AC supply, let's say this is, here we have an AC supply, and due to this AC supply we have a current here, Im cos omega t. We have already studied in magnetic circuit how the magnitude of current can be estimated. There will be some inductance. Inductance is equal to N square divided by reluctance. And to this inductance, there will be inductive reactance, omega L, and current will be V divided by omega L. So if voltage is sinusoidal, current, MMF, flux, all the quantities will be sinusoidal. Okay. So if current is sinusoidal here, I is equal to Im sin omega t. F will be, if you multiply this current by N, we will have MMF. So F will be N into Im cos omega t. This can be written, this is the maximum value of MMF. We will have Fm cos omega t. Now if we see the time variation of this MMF, let's say at omega t equal to 0, F will be Fm. So let's say this is the length of Fm, and I'm assuming that the positive will be in direction. If omega t is equal to 30 degree, F will be root 3 by 2 Fm. So this will be the magnitude. At omega t equal to 60 degree, F will be Fm by 2. So this will be the magnitude. Similarly, at omega t equal to 90 degree, we will have F equal to 0. So here will be the point. In the same way, if you increase omega t from 90 to 180 degree, at 180 degree we will have maximum magnitude in reverse direction. Okay, so this is minus Fm. Similarly, so what we find here, in case of, if this winding is given an AC supply or given a single phase AC supply, the MMF will be pulsating. It means its direction will change, and as well as its magnitude will also be changed. In case of DC supply, what happens? The direction as well as magnitude is constant. But in case of AC supply, the magnitude as well as direction changes. Now again, if we compare a stator of single phase induction motor and 3-phase induction motor, due to this type of configuration or due to 3-phase balance supply, what we have here, we have a rotating magnetic field. And if the magnetic field will not rotate, if this magnetic field does not rotate, it will not cut the rotor conductor. And if it will not cut the rotor conductor will not rotate. In case of 3-phase induction motor, we have rotating MMF and it cuts the rotor conductor. But in case of single phase induction motor, up to this point we find that the stator magnetic field is not rotating, it is pulsating. So it will not cut the rotor conductor. This is the diagram for single phase induction motor. Here we have a stator which is given by single phase AC supply, and these are rotor conductors. And what we have observed here, that the field, the MMF due to this single phase supply this will be Fm cos omega t, and this field will be pulsating. I am drawing the field here. We need rotating magnetic field, but here we have pulsating magnetic field. So it seems that this magnetic field will not cut the rotor conductors. So if this magnetic field will not cut the rotor conductor, so this single phase induction motor or this rotor will not rotate. But if this rotor is given, if it is given an initial speed in any direction, suppose if it is given an initial speed of omega in clockwise direction, then this single phase induction motor will start rotating in clockwise direction. If it is given in an initial speed in anti-clockwise direction, so it will start rotating in anti-clockwise direction. And how that will happen, so we will see. Suppose this is rotor part and here we have rotor conductors. At any instant of time, the field will be, this is F is equal to Fm cos omega t. This will be, if this is positive, we will take the direction of field in upward direction. If this quantity is negative, depending upon omega t, if this quantity is negative, we will take in downward direction. Now if we analyze, if we try to find out expression of MMF at an angle theta from this orientation, in this direction, if field is Fm cos omega t, Fm cos omega t, what will be the magnitude of field at an angle theta from the axis of direction of magnetic field? So at this, in this direction, the field will be Fm cos omega t into cos theta, because in this direction we have theta equal to 0. So if you will put theta equal to 0, you will have Fm cos omega t in this direction. If you put theta equal to 90 degree, you will always get 0 magnetic field, because the field is pulsating either in upward direction or in downward direction. So what we have here in this expression, we have only time variation of MMF. In this expression we have time as well as space variation. So this is magnetic field, this is time variation as well as space variation of magnetic field. What we are doing here, we are trying to analyze, if it is given an initial speed, how it will start rotating. For that, first what we are doing, we are trying to find out time as well as space variation of this magnetic field. So we have this expression. Now if we split it, this can be written as half into 2 Fm cos omega t into cos theta. This is half Fm, and 2 cos omega t into cos theta will be, this can be written as, what is cos A into cos B? This is cos, half cos A minus B plus cos A plus B, A plus B. And this will be cos theta minus omega t plus cos theta plus omega t. So f t and theta is Fm by 2 cos theta minus omega t plus Fm by 2 cos theta plus omega t, and this is nothing but Fm cos omega t into cos theta. So what we have done here, we have splitted the space and time variation of magnetic field into two parts. Now if we separately analyze this part, okay, what we will have, the first part of this space variation and time variation of magnetic field. This is Fm by 2 cos theta minus omega t. In this field, the maximum MMF is Fm by 2, and this is varying with theta and time. This is also called forward field. Why it is called forward field? Or let's say this is F1 t comma theta. Now if I ask you, for t equal to 0, what will be the direction of, let's say t equal to 0 or omega t equal to 0, at omega t equal to 0, what is the direction of maximum magnetic field? If you put omega t equal to 0, then maximum magnetic field will be for theta equal to 0 degree. We will put different value of omega t, and we will try to find out the maximum magnetic, we will try to find out the angle or the direction in which the magnetic field will be maximum. So for omega t equal to 0, the maximum magnetic field is in theta equal to 0 direction. So this is theta equal to 0. So here we will have Fm by 2. Okay. Now suppose omega t equal to 30 degree. So at omega t equal to 30 degree, f t comma theta will be Fm by 2 cos theta minus 30 degree. Now if you want to maximize this quantity, you will have to put theta equal to 30 degree. So as time will be varying, omega t will be varying. So for some time omega t will be 30 degree, and when omega t equal to 30 degree, the field is maximum for theta equal to 30 degree. So we will have Fm by 2 at an angle 30 degree. Fm. So what we observe here, as time varies and with the variation of time, when omega t varies from 0 to 30 degree, the maximum magnetic field rotates in a space by an angle of 30 degree. Similarly, for omega t equal to 90 degree, what will be the direction of maximum magnetic field? When this is 90 degree, you have to get cos 0 degree. So when omega t is 90 degree, theta has to be 90 degree to make cos 0 degree. So the maximum magnetic field will be at 90 degree. So what you are observing here, as time passes, the maximum magnetic field rotating. And what is the speed of rotation of magnetic field? If you want to find out the speed of rotation of this magnetic field, what do you need to do? Fm by 2 cos theta minus omega t, this must be equal to Fm by 2. You have to get the direction of maximum magnetic field. For this, theta minus omega t must be 0. So theta must be equal to omega t. And what is the speed? The speed is d theta by, angular speed is d theta by dt, and d theta by dt is omega. So the angular speed of maximum magnetic field is nothing but the angular frequency of time variation. Initially, what is this omega? This omega is angular variation, the angular frequency of time variation. And what we are finding here, the speed of, or the angular speed of space variation of maximum magnetic field is same as the angular frequency of time variation. Or in simple language, we can say that when this omega t becomes 0 to 360 degree, theta will also have to be from 0 to 360 degree. It means the Fm by 2 will rotate from 0 to 360 degree. So when it will rotate from 0 to 360 degree, it will make complete rotation. So when omega t will make complete rotation, Fm by 2 will also make the complete rotation in a space. Now if I ask you, in 1 second, now if omega t is varying from 0 to 360 degree, what does it mean? We have one cycle of time variation. So if omega t varies from 0 to 360 degree, this Fm by 2 completes one rotation. Now if omega t has a frequency of 50 Hertz, what does it mean? In 1 second, and we will say in 1 second, omega t completes 50 cycles. This is the meaning of frequency. If frequency is 50 Hertz, in 1 second omega t completes 50 cycles. So we can say that in 1 second this Fm by 2 or the maximum magnetic field, this will complete 50 rotation. So we can say that the rotation per second of this Fm by 2 is equal to the frequency of supply. And what we found here, this is rotating in clockwise direction. So the first part of this magnetic field, this is a rotating magnetic field in clockwise direction and with a speed same as the frequency of supply. Fm by 2 cos theta minus omega t. This is a rotating magnetic field. This is rotating with speed f rotation per second, which is 50 Hertz rotation per second in clockwise direction. Okay. Now we will analyze the second part. The second part is Fm by 2 cos theta plus omega t. So in the same way, for different value of omega t, we will try to find out the direction of maximum magnetic field. So for omega t equal to 0, this Fm by 2, this will be in the direction theta equal to 0 degree. If you increase omega t will always increase because t always increases. So when omega t is equal to 30 degree, you have to put theta equal to minus 30 degree. So Fm by 2, in the previous case I have taken the positive direction of theta in clockwise direction. So if we have negative value of theta, we will have to take it in anti-clockwise direction. So Fm by 2, this will be in 30 degree. Similarly, for omega t equal to 90 degree, we will have Fm by 2 in anti-clockwise 90 degree direction. And similarly, if you try to find out the speed, we can conclude, as we did in previous case, we can conclude that the speed is same as the frequency. So this part is rotating with, this is rotating with the speed of f rotation per second in anti-clockwise direction. So what we have done so far, we have Fm cos omega t into cos theta. This is magnetic MMF at any time t and theta, and this has been splitted into two parts. The one part is rotating in clockwise direction. The magnitude of one part is, it can be viewed as, there are two magnetic field of magnitude Fm by 2. One is rotating in clockwise direction and another is rotating in anti-clockwise direction. So in one diagram what I will do, I will draw this magnetic field as well as this magnetic field. So we will have variation of this complete magnetic field. For omega t equal to 0, in both the field, the maximum is along theta equal to 0 degree. Fm by 2, this is also Fm by 2, and this is rotating with, one is rotating in anti-clockwise direction and other is rotating in clockwise direction. Both are Fm by 2. So in three-phase induction motor, if you are watching this lecture, it will be better. First you watch three-phase, the basic concept of three-phase induction motor, then you will feel, then you can easily understand this lecture. Okay. So what happens in three-phase induction motor? We have a rotating stator MMF, and rotating MMF, the stator MMF cuts the rotor conductor. So hence this rotor part rotates. In single phase induction motor, we have two rotating stator MMF. One is rotating in clockwise direction and other is rotating in anti-clockwise direction. So it can be viewed as, there are two rotating MMF. In three-phase induction motor, we have one rotating MMF. So this machine can be viewed as two three-phase induction motors. One induction motor, or this can be viewed as single three-phase induction motor, in which one field is trying to rotate the rotor in clockwise direction and other is trying to rotate in anti-clockwise direction. And since both the fields are of same magnitude, so the torque due to both the field will be equal, and initially the single phase induction motor will not start rotating. Now if you remember the torque slip characteristic of three-phase induction motor, what is the torque slip characteristic? Here we have torque. Suppose that this is slip equal to 0, this is slip equal to 1. This is direction of speed. Here we have nr equal to 0, and here at this point nr equal to, and if you extend it, this will be like, here we have speed ns, at this point we will have a speed minus ns and slip equal to 2. So in this induction motor, we will take clockwise speed as positive. So if at this point speed is ns, since ns is positive, speed is positive here, so this is clockwise speed, and here we will have anti-clockwise speed. So if we take clockwise speed as positive, we will say this is forward field, and this field will try to rotate in positive direction, and this field will try to rotate in anti-clockwise direction. So this field will be called backward field. Now if we analyze only forward field, as in the case of three-phase induction motor, we have only one field. Okay. So if we try to find out torque due to this field only, we will apply concept of three-phase induction motor, and due to only one field, this will be the torque slip characteristic. This is torque slip characteristic due to forward field. See, the forward field is rotating in clockwise direction with speed ns, and if motor will rotate in clockwise direction with speed nr, what will be the slip? Ns minus nr divided by ns. So this is clockwise speed, so overall quantity will be less than 1. So for forward field, if speed of rotor is positive, we will have slip between 1 to 0. Similarly, if we analyze for backward field, the synchronous speed is minus ns, because it is rotating in anti-clockwise direction, and if motor is rotating in clockwise direction, what will be slip? Minus ns minus nr divided by ns. So this will be, the magnitude of this slip will be greater than. Similarly, if motor is rotating in anti-clockwise direction, nr will be negative. So for forward field, slip will be greater than 1. If motor is rotating in anti-clockwise direction, nr will be negative, and for forward field, slip will be greater than 1. Here slip is equal to 1, and at this point slip is equal to 2. Now we will try to draw the torque slip characteristic due to backward field. So forward field, this will obviously apply torque in clockwise direction, and all the quantity which are in clockwise direction, we will take them as positive. So backward field, this will apply torque in anti-clockwise direction, because this will cut the rotor conductor in anti-clockwise direction. So due to this field, rotor conductor will try to rotate in anti-clockwise direction so as to reduce the relative speed between this field and rotor conductor. So for this field, if rotor rotates in anti-clockwise direction, relative speed will be less. So in this case, if rotor rotates, for this field, the synchronous speed is minus s minus nr divided by ns. Or we can understand this way: if rotor rotates with speed ns in anti-clockwise direction, the relative speed between rotor and backward field will be 0. So if relative speed is 0, we will have slip equal to 0. So for backward field, we have at this point slip will be 0. Slip equal to ns minus nr divided by ns. Okay. If rotor does not rotate, what will be the slip? This rotates with the relative speed will be ns. So ns by ns, here we will have slip equal to 1. This field is rotating in anti-clockwise direction, and suppose if rotor is rotating in clockwise direction, so relative speed will be more than ns. At this point, if rotor is rotating with a speed of ns in clockwise direction and field is rotating in anti-clockwise direction. So relative speed will be 2ns. So at this point we will have slip equal to, so we know that at slip equal to 0 in 3-phase induction motor, torque is 0. So at this point the torque due to backward field will be 0. At slip equal to 1 we get some starting torque. So at slip equal to 1 we will have some starting torque, but the torque is in anti-clockwise direction. We have taken clockwise torque as positive, clockwise will be negative. When the magnitude of slip is close to 0 we get maximum torque. So when the slip is close to 0, at this point we will get this type of characteristic, and if slip is greater than 1 we will get this type of characteristic. So now what will be the overall torque on the rotor? The overall torque will be torque due to forward field and torque due to backward field. So we will have to take arithmetic sum of these. What concept we are applying in single phase induction motor? What we did, we splitted the stator magnetic field in two parts. One is forward field and another is backward field, and we viewed it as there is a 3-phase induction motor in which there are two stator magnetic field. So corresponding to each stator magnetic field we have a torque slip characteristic, and the overall torque will be arithmetic sum of these two, torque due to both the stator magnetic field. So if you will add them at this point, this is NR rotor speed. At this point we have rotor speed equal to synchronous speed in clockwise direction. At this point we have rotor speed equal to synchronous speed in anti-clockwise direction. So when rotor is not rotating, initially when rotor is not rotating, for both the fields slip equal to 1, one is applying a starting torque in clockwise direction, other is applying a starting torque in anti-clockwise direction. There are two opposite fields and a strength of both the fields are Fm by 2. So the starting torque for both the fields will be same, and these are in opposite in direction. So starting torque will be 0. Now if you analyze torque at some positive speed, for some positive speed the slip to forward field decreases, or you just see for a positive speed the forward torque increases and backward torque decreases. So if at this point this minus this, you will get a positive torque. Here you will get a positive torque. Here you have maximum positive torque, and here some amount will be subtracted from this maximum torque. So you will get this type of curve. What will be the torque at ns? Here we have 0 and here we have some negative torque. So at ns we will have some negative value and this type of torque slip characteristic we will get. Similarly in negative side, so this is torque versus speed characteristic of single phase induction motor, and this is based on the concept of 3-phase induction motor. When the speed is 0, there is no torque. Okay. When it is not rotating, there is no torque. So we will say single phase induction motor is not self-starting. Single phase induction motor is not self-starting. If you will give initial speed in anti-clockwise direction, what will happen? it is not self-starting, but if you give initial speed in anti-clockwise direction, what will happen? If the speed is negative, there will be a torque in anti-clockwise direction. If there is a torque in anti-clockwise direction, that torque will increase the speed, and now this induction motor will rotate due to backward torque, and this will start rotating in anti-clockwise direction, and at some point, that depends upon the load at which point it will operate. So at some point it will start rotating. If you will give an initial speed in clockwise direction, suppose this is the initial speed you have given, this is initial speed, so you have a positive torque, and this torque is positive, means this torque is being applied in clockwise direction only, so it will increase the speed. The speed will increase, torque is again increasing, so this way it will start operating. These are a stable region of operation. So in this region, at some point, this induction motor will start. That will depend upon the load also. These are unstable region of operation, unstable, and these are stable region of operation. In a separate video lecture, I have discussed how to find out stable and unstable region of operation. So what we have discussed in this lecture, we splitted the pulsating field. The pulsating field can be viewed as two rotating field, the forward and backward rotating field. And once we have the rotating field, we can apply the concept of three-phase induction motor in single-phase induction motor. So this was the concept behind single-phase induction motor. Next we will study, since the single-phase induction motor is not self-starting, so with the help of auxiliary winding, the single-phase induction motor can be made self-starting. The starting of induction motor. So in the next lecture we will study role of auxiliary winding. Auxiliary winding. Next we will study, for each type of electrical machine we have an equivalent electrical circuit, that is modeling. Like for transformer we have a circuit, even for three-phase induction motor we have a circuit. Similarly for single-phase induction motor we will have a circuit that will be called modeling of single-phase induction motor. So these two topics we will study in next lecture. And after modeling, we can study operation of single-phase induction motor, operation, in which we can study efficiency. In operation we can study all those things which are studied in three-phase induction motor.